Welcome to Domestic Violence, Trauma, and Healing. In this course, we'll be talking about domestic violence and trauma surprisingly little. Instead, we'll be focusing on the healing part. Here's why. We work hard to help women through the crisis they face when they leave their abuser. But we spend little time and consequently have little expertise on helping women take the next step. In fact, once women are stabilized, our interventions often end. This probably happens because DV resources are scarce and the need for crisis work is huge. And because, once women are stabilized, we tend to believe that the rest of the journey isn't so hard and most people can make it by themselves. But this isn't always true. My own research shows that women who have been out of an abusive relationship for over a year can still feel pretty miserable and lost. And they remain socially isolated, lacking supportive friendships with women. Not surprisingly, this is a time when women go back into abusive relationships or do a lot of substances to try and make themselves feel better. So I began to experiment with what women might need in order to heal. And I found myself observing my friend Eileen, who ran a series of transitional houses for women getting out of prison. Eileen is a heroin addict in recovery. When she got out of prison, she found that there was no place for her to go. She was homeless. So she found a place to stay, and then she began working on a place to live, not just for herself, but for other women who were leaving prison too. Eileen now runs sober houses all over Connecticut. Eileen is tough and loving, and she accepts women for who they are and listens to where they want to go. She is also hopeful, and that's in short supply when you've hit rock bottom. Most women leaving prison have been diagnosed, judged, and sentenced to be failures. Something else that's really important about Eileen. She constantly sees the women in her houses as perfect, wonderful, loving women. Once I was working with a woman in her house. As I talked with this woman, I was assessing her, thinking words like borderline personality disorder, low functioning, addicted. I mentioned her name to Eileen once in passing, and Eileen simply said, "Oh, Marie? Yeah, great girl." I took that to heart. If I saw Marie as a great girl too, then what reality did I create for Marie? If I saw her as broken, what reality did I create? Like women healing from domestic violence, the women in Eileen's houses were used to being seen as broken. In fact, that was the mirror that was constantly held up for them. But Eileen was powerful because she held up a different mirror. She created a space for a different reality. And women clung to that reality and worked to co-construct it. There was no script. It was simply Eileen believing in them. And it was so effective at helping women change their lives. There's a close parallel between the women Eileen works with and women healing from battering. Think about it. When women leave a battering relationship, they receive help as victims of violence. As time goes by, and they've had a chance to tell their story and begin to put the pieces of their lives back together, they become survivors. And this is where our interventions usually end. And women hold on to that survivor identity. It's a good identity, and an important one. It just isn't where women need to stay. There's an identification with brokenness in being a survivor. Women need to move on to become thrivers in spite of their experience with violence. And they need someone to hold that vision of hope, perfection, and wholeness, and health up for them to see and reach for. We can help them take the steps toward attainment. I like to say that we can't change what has happened to women in the past, but we can help women change their futures. So let's start right now with the first lesson in healing. Women need to know that there's an alternative reality for them. They've gotten good at being a victim. They've gotten proficient at being a survivor. But now they need to know that they can thrive in spite of violence. They need to see the mirror of healing and hope and perfection being held up for them. Healing follows a predictable trajectory and involves women's ability to make cognitive shifts so that they can think about themselves in a new way. In this course, you'll learn these steps by experiencing them. You're asked to begin your work with women by working on yourself and your own healing. This is revolutionary, joyful, hope-filled work, and by taking the journey, you'll learn to hear and know and to listen for what women healing from violence need. So in this class, you're actually asked to keep a double vision. Keep one eye on yourself and your own processes, and another eye on what you surmise other women will need. We'll have plenty of time for discussion so you can share your thoughts and experiences. So start by checking out the course syllabus. Next, you might want to take a look at the bibliography that I've uploaded for you, and then introduce us to you so that as we go on this journey together, we build a supportive learning community. Then check out week 1 and get started. Have fun, stay in touch with me and each other on a daily basis, work hard and learn a lot, and above all, enjoy the journey.